Hi, everyone. Welcome to our brand art workshop illustrating the Tooniverse. I hope everyone's enjoying our virtual ToonFest so far. While it stinks that we couldn't host physically this year, people's health and safety are a little more important. So I'm June, and alongside me today is Ellie, who's also a brand artist for the team. You can say hello.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ellie. A lot of you probably might know me as Sarah. Actually stopped going by Sarah a while ago. So yeah, I am Ellie now. So I'm also a brand artist for the Toontown team.
Well, I hope you guys are really excited to see this because we put a lot of love into the work we do. To explain a little bit what this is going to be is this is 90 minutes of just art. So for the first 30 minutes, maybe less, depending how quickly I get through these, it's going to be like around that amount of time, and then after it's going to be an hour of live drawing from the art requests that people have sent through the hashtag brandarttr on Twitter. So I actually have already gone through the I don't know what to call it, but I'm gonna call it the links. But I threw it on a website, like, and I think it's called like Wheel of Names, and it's not really pretty to look at, but I will spin it and then I'll click a link and see who it is that won, and I will draw them. Um, but I don't have an exact answer of how many I'll be able to go through. I will try to draw at least 3 people. If I have more time, I'll definitely keep going. Um, and if you stick around for the end of the workshop, at least this presentation, we actually have a little surprise for a drawing that hasn't been shown publicly, and it's been hidden away for almost a year. Um, but it's not finished, so I'll just leave it at that. So, um, let's just get going.
Oh, June, do you
So,
think do you think we should do our first little giveaway?
oh, we should.
All right,
So,
so we are going to be doing a couple of giveaways during this live stream. Probably about 3 of them. You'll have a chance to win something very exciting in Toontown. So, to participate in this giveaway, all you need to do in the Twitch chat, so this is only for our viewers that are watching on Twitch, put exclamation mark paintbrush. PAINTBRUSH, exclamation mark paintbrush in the Twitch chat for a chance to win our first of the 3 giveaways.
I hope
And
you
it
guys
looks
are excited and everyone is spamming already.
looks like we got a lot of
Um,
paintbrushes.
that's true. So for people who attended ToonFest last year, might have seen some of this information a little bit. Uh, for reference, we were supposed to be uploading this, but of course we had our technical difficulties with audio, and it came out very weird for some people, and so we scrapped it, unfortunately. But the good news is this is now actually live and through computers instead of like physically and setting up all cameras. So I'm just gonna go through this and then I will show a bunch of process work. Um, to begin, what are we? Well, brand artists are just a fancy term for illustrators or 2D artists. I don't know who came up with the term brand artist because I was not involved with that discussion. Um, our job is to create art for social media, the website, conventions, and all other non in game projects. But it could be an in game project, but we haven't reached that point in our life here. Um, so, over the years, I know that a lot of people have expressed interest in applying to this position. And while it is true that we have high standards to the quality we push out, no one expects you to be like this hardcore perfect artist. Um, all we just ask is that you love to draw and you want to learn. Um, but we do have a like higher recommendation to understanding the basics of art, composition, perspective, anatomy, color theory, all that good stuff that's beyond the realm of Toontown, if you can. Um, and you should apply. I've seen people like make comments that they're afraid, and my dad had always told me that the answer is always no if you don't ask. Um, and then lastly, we require all artists to work digitally through those pencil sketches are okay. A drawing tablet for the PC. I cannot say like confidently if an iPad is good, but because I've never worked with that, but some kind of drawing tablet, Photoshop CS5 or higher, and of course you have to be at least 13 years or older. So let's talk process. Um, so we do these things called thumbnails, sketches, and then renders. I'm pretty sure render is not the right word, but that's what I've been saying. So sorry, video editors, for the confusion. um, so these first few slides will explore some art in general for each process, and then we'll show some art that's from like each stage. So the first one I'm gonna show is like basically we go from thumbnail to sketch to final. So these are like the three main components. And this is the field office poster from 2018, and it went through a lot of changes thanks to Roger. He is not with us, but Roger Dog is an amazing artist, and he really helped like create these awesome drawings that you see. He's the one who actually defined the style, but we will discuss that a little later. So these are some thumbnails. Thumbnails are like probably a weird word that you keep hearing. And so the basic idea is trying to get the overall composition and theme down. It doesn't have to be these perfect drawings or like really pretty. It's like really rough. For me personally, I try to find like my values, which is why they're in black and white. So I just have like a way to like see like which is more visually important for the person to like look at. Um, and then on the right is Ellie's, which were sketches for the face cutout from last year at the convention, and she went through quite a bit of process with it, and we actually have a little bit more to show for that.
So the sketches or the thumbnails by me on the right, fun fact, those were actually the very first thing I ever did as a brand artist on the Toontown team. And I never thought that they would ever see the light of day, but now a couple hundred people are looking at it, so that's fun.
Yeah. The last thing with these is that thumbnails can be revisited, and we've definitely revisited some of these. So these are some more thumbnails. One on the right is something that's like actually not real, that wasn't public, but now it is. So on the left, the far left, was the sketch that Roger Dog took of the CEO. So he really liked the way I drew the head, but basically everything else I was just like horrible at. So he helped out with that. And he's the reason why that sketch and like drawing overall looked great. I just finished whatever he started. um, and then the one next to the CEO is our one of our thumbnails for the launcher. And I know we haven't discussed much about the launcher in like basically all year, but I do have a little bit more information about the launcher and where we're at there. But we will get there in a little bit. And then on the right was actually the second original idea for the poster this year. I wanted to do the ice game, and then everyone said, "Do not do that," and I was like, "Okay." So, so the duck is Piplup, who was the concept artist behind like the ice game area, and so I wanted to like at least have a drawing that was dedicated to her, and we eventually were able to use that thanks to Ellie.
You'll get to see some more of the sketches for that later.
Yeah. So these are some sketches that I have for the launcher. On the left is like it's kind of rough, but typically for me, I personally work from background and then characters. I can't do characters and then background. I have to know where they're actually getting placed. And on the right were some suggestions and ideas by Lavender, who's a graphic designer on the team. She's not a brand artist, but she does make quite the adorable amount of drawings. And then we have some various sketches. So on the left is the final sketch, I believe it's the final, of the face cutout. And then the middle is the more refined sketch of Piplup. And then on the right was a sketch for the Crash Cashbot event by Tenny and Ellie.
And these are more what you're looking at when you get to more of the final stage of sketching when we're about to add colors to it. So these are all pretty polished sketches, and they don't always start that way. Sometimes they're a little bit rough at first.
Yeah. So this is by the amazing Laffy. So Laffy worked on the sketch but had to like take an extended break, so I stepped in and helped finish it. But the CJ trading card looks great because of what Laffy did as a setup. Because like I actually personally struggle drawing cogs, and I feel like everyone else on this team draws them way better than me. So I'm really happy with how it came out, and I hope everyone is enjoying at least that trading card. We got the deer that was finished by Ellie basically 3 years later. So in 2017, we didn't know how to draw the deer yet, and so we were just like working with what we had. So it looks like that originally, and then we actually had a style, and so Ellie found these old sketches and was like, I want to draw these.
So on the far left was probably one of the first. I wasn't at the team of the time, but I have to guess that it was probably one of the first sketches of the deer that was created for the brand art style. And as you can see, the difference between the 2017 version and the 2020 version, June was still coming up with what the deer would look like. So you can see that the deer's head ended up becoming a very different shape from what the original sketch is. So we had to kind of go in and fix all of it to how the brand art actually ended up being 3 years later. And then I went and rendered it. But I went up to June and I was like, hey, I found these old sketches that we never used. Can I clean them up and render it? And she was like, yep, go for it. So got to do some more art from 3-year-old sketches.
Pretty much. The next one is actually by Ellie as well, which is the second Riggy drawing. So her original sketch was on the left, and the right doesn't, or the middle doesn't show like the example of redlining, but those are like after like all the critiques. And then of course the right is the final.
And as you can see, like the pose in the middle, like the one on the far left isn't bad necessarily, but the pose in the middle is just a lot more dynamic and interesting to look at. So while the original sketch might not be bad, you get other eyes to look at it and they find ways to make it so much more interesting. So we ended up going with the middle version, and that ended up being the final one.
Yeah. So I know that we have at least 15 minutes left together with this workshop before we start heading into the live stream. So I'm going to try to be a little fast, but I promise we will get to trying. So this one, so fair warning, this video ended abruptly because I am not Pablo and I cannot edit videos for my life. But I wanted to at least show an example of how I personally draw. So this literally goes from thumbnails all the way to the end. Fair warning, at the end, I messed up with the speeding process, so it's going to go zip, zip, zoom real quick. So the first idea that we were thinking about when we were reworking on the new poster was ToonFest. And that was like, or actually it's Cartoonable. I am so sorry, PR. So we were working on that section, and then they also brought up the idea of doing quarantine. And so this part right here is me like at least getting the basic idea of the quarantine theme down. So I'm just trying to figure out my composition and like character placements and everything like that. So I think this is actually the most important part, is like figuring this out, because like I have a hard time like sketching without any idea of where I'm putting things. So here's the value studies, and now we're on to sketches after a team review. I already forgot how many people voted for which ones, but now we're sketching real quick, and I'm gonna probably laugh because once we get to the actual render, you'll see what I mean when I say zip, zip, zoom. So these are like the sketches that I drew before any critiques were applied, and then I guess this is where we're zipping a lot. So I go back in and I redefine my sketch real quick to make sure it like is more clean for me to like actually understand before I like render it out. And then I work with perspective grids because I cannot eyeball perspective for the life of me. So my little fun fact is that flower pot, actually, I was intending to get some staff members to sign their signatures so it looked like it was getting painted on there because I know like people like paint on flower pots and stuff. So I wanted to do something like that. But the idea got scrapped ultimately because personally I didn't want to put that effort in. So I had problems drawing the Mingler here. Sorry to everyone who really loves the Mingler, but
It was the first one we did for brand art, so
yeah,
I think so.
it is.
It was a new cog.
Okay, this is where it goes real fast. I am so sorry. I didn't realize until after, but we're gonna work with what we got. So I wish I could draw this fast because I
Wow,
would
would that
probably be way
be
more productive.
that would be so much easier.
I know. So I do my flats, and then I have a basic understanding of what my values are going to be, and then that's where I start shading a lot. So I try to work. It depends where, but sometimes I'll start with the background or foreground before I go into the middle because I need to know where my light is hitting. And so for some of this part, I actually was live streaming to the staff at this point. And so I was getting critiques on the spot right there. And so then right here, I feel dumb, but I just realized I can like edit smart objects with its own personal file. I don't know why I didn't think of this, but
Wait, you didn't
it would
know
have saved
that?
me time. No, I
Wow,
found out accidentally.
something
Okay,
that
so
I
that
knew
is,
that June didn't know. I am astonished.
I know. So there it is, the final thing. And so now we have our style guide, and unfortunately, due to pressed time, I'm going to have to speed through this a little bit. But Roger shared this on Reddit, like after I had this in here. But this is like our basic idea of like how we draw our tunes. And then this is how we have our basic idea of drawing cogs. At least this is like how I approach it because Roger didn't have enough time. And then for constructing, we have this flow method, which is basically it's a form of composition where we get to have the important elements seen. And so on the bottom right, you can see like there's like that triangle, and it's supposed to divert your eyes in each different direction. And then we just have a little bit more here. And then some various sketches by Roger Dog, who is actually the mastermind behind this whole branding.
Yes, like Roger Dog is not here in this live stream with us, but we owe literally the entire style to him. So everybody thank Roger Dog.
Yeah, pretty much. So, and then just a little bit more of like red lines. The left is like was done by Kyla back in 2018, I think. I've already forgotten time in like years. Maybe it was 2017 actually. And then the right was a drawing I did, and then he went in and like made some corrections. And every time he's redlined my work, I've improved as an artist. So I think that like red lines are very important, and it helps us learn visually as artists how to like find our mistakes and like improve from them. And then the next one is rebranding Toontown. So once upon a time, I was told to finish this in a week, so we could order our banner, in I think February. This was not finished until May or something like that. I've already lost track of time. But due to that, so Joey was like, it should have Toon and Cogs on the side. And he was like, just have like a silhouette on the background or something like that. So I was like, okay. And so this is actually the first pass. So I was told to replicate Katie, who was the original artist for this team, making the actual official art. They were like, just copy her art style. And I was like, that's hard. I don't know how to draw that. So it was really big of a struggle. And then about a month and a half later, Roger came in and was like, hold up, I got ideas. So he had ideas for Flippy and the cogs. And this is where I actually started to learn how to draw cogs and tunes in general. So this is my example of saying that like your sketches don't have to look like this right off the bat, because it took me forever to learn how to do this. And then we have our full sketch of this. So you can see some of them that made it through the end, like the horse. I'm so glad he kept it. And then I have my background art process, and I was told to like change it so it's replicating Toontown online, and it was going to be like kind of like a circular kind of thing. I don't know how to call it, but it was like that really pretty background that they had on their last website design. And then we have some more. I think I reversed these by accident, but the rabbit was supposed to be sea green, and I think somewhere along the way we decided it was not working, so we kicked her out and changed her to be peach.
Yeah,
But
sometimes we change things
yeah,
super last minute. Like you're almost done and then you see that a color doesn't work and we're like, well, we have to change all the colors. Just happens sometimes.
yeah. So these were my flats. This was before critiques. So this is such an old process. I've lost some of the stuff through the cracks. So I'm going to have to like bump into our final, is what you see on the banner. Which is not the final, because now I'm looking at it and I still see that sea green rabbit, but it's okay. So she had cream legs, and I was told no cream legs. We're making them all solid colors. So I had the heart and mind of thinking of like people with different color tunes with like different parts of their body from the start, but I was told not to. And then I don't know how, but they told me to keep that arm, and then they looked at it again and they're like, yeah, no.
And let me just say that I'm so glad that in our more recent brand art, we are doing a lot more of like multicolored tunes and fatter tunes and tunes with different accessories. So
yeah.
There's a lot more tune representation in the brand art now.
Yeah, pretty much. But wait, not everything is done in our vector art. So these are, I have two different slides about our flyers. So this is like our 2017 one, and it has our sketch to our render. The sketch was of course done by Roger, with like, it was like a mix of both of our work. And then this was the 2019 one. This is still my absolute favorite one that I've worked with. And now, because we are so pressed for time and I could talk about this for days, let's talk about scrapped content. So, these will actually be really quick because I don't have too many to show, but these were some original ideas we had for the flyer. And then here, I have no idea what Roger drew on the left. I'm not going to lie. I can tell what it is. I'm pretty sure there's cogs on the right side. Are like, there's like a bunch of cogs surrounding tunes. On the left, I think they just discovered a kingdom, but I'm not really sure. And then on the far right was a thumbnail done by Nate, who's a concept artist on the team. So as you can see, lots of different people will participate. And now I can show something that was originally going to be the original poster. This baby. So this was actually supposed to be the original poster. But we changed, and I took a little bit of a break because I needed a mental break, and I looked at this, like I started the cat and I was like, I hate this. Can we start over? Like pretty last minute, so that's my fault. But and this is like something that I still like looking at, but I don't really have plans to finish it. But our little fun fact are the tunes in the background were actual tunes that we found in game. We stalked people and try to find people who are like diverse enough to like throw into the poster. And I've already forgotten which street this was a reference to. I think it was Elm Street, but I could be wrong. But now is this, and this is actually going to be scrapped content. So this is what I mean about the launcher, and I have to give like a quick little update. So in January, we were very ambitious, as we typically are, and actually we are redoing it from the ground up because we didn't have a UX designer, UI, UX. I know they're different interchangeable things. But we finally have a small little team that's working on it. And we have it named like something super ridiculous because we like to do like silly code names, and it's called like Bento Box Rocket Beetle because we couldn't figure out anything. But I definitely know the Bento Box was because every time we had our meetings, it was sushi. So yeah, so you can download the full resolution at this link below. But I will say that we are working on a way stronger launcher concept than what I had initially planned, because we actually have someone who knows what they're doing and not me. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but it'll definitely be worth it because we have way cooler ideas going on now than this, but it's still worth to share this out into the crowd. And lastly, there's one more drawing that isn't scrapped, and it's
Ooh.
this one. This is like literally my heart and soul.
I can't wait for this.
Yeah. So I wanted to do one of Shirley's lab, and I was just like trying to do it, but then I just wanted to throw mini Easter eggs in it, but time had other plans, and so it's a little busy. But I do plan to eventually finish this. This isn't actually going to be something we'll be like showing it and then we'll be like, we scrapped it. Like, I'm actually committed to finishing this. It's on my to-do. But the launcher is my highest priority right now. And that's all. So thank you for watching. Now let's get to drawing with our fabulous Wheel of Names.
Oh, and just before June draws the names, so while June is drawing, it would be really hard for her to draw and focus and do all the talking at the same time. So while June draws some of your guys' tunes, if you guys, when she gets started, if anybody has any questions about brand art or the Toontown style in general, about anything that June and I do on the team, you are welcome to ask, and I will be answering some questions as well as maybe describing some of the things that June is doing while she draws. So that is going to be what about the next hour is going to look like.
So I'm not as fast as I am on that video, but I'm going to scroll through the Wheel of Names starting now. I know you guys can't see it, but it's on my second monitor. And I'm going to have to probably say the username because I can't see names right off the bat. Oh, I didn't know this plays audio. Okay, so the first one is, it's me, Mackenzie, and they have their awesome, cute, fat cat with a bird hat.
It's a fat cat?
Yes, it's a fat cat.
Yay!
I'm going to copy it. So we have our beautiful fat cat, and just quick warning, so I can like get through as many as I can. Some of them might not be full bodies, so I might just be doing like not full bodies, but we'll see. So I'm very quiet with drawing, so I am so sorry, but Ellie is also very entertaining.
So if anybody has any questions, I'll be looking at both YouTube and Twitch. So if anybody has any questions about brand art or what June and I do on the team, or about anything required to be a brand artist, or just the brand art style in general, feel free to ask them now, and I will try to answer as many as I can. And also maybe explain a little bit about what June is doing while she draws. So we work in Photoshop, and I did see some people ask towards the beginning when June was explaining about the requirements to be a brand artist. You do need Photoshop, and that is because it's just a lot easier, because for artists specifically, we share a lot of files between each other. Like, not one artist works on one drawing. It sometimes passes around between multiple artists. And it just works the best with art if everybody's using the same program. So it would be hard if one of us was using Illustrator and the other one was using Photoshop and the other was using, Psy or something. So it just works best when everybody's using the same program, and the standard has kind of always been Photoshop. So that's just what we've kept it as over the years. So that's the reason that you need Photoshop to be a brand artist. How do we deal with scrapped projects when you feel they're really well done? So
cry.
So for me, it can be tough. Like, you'd work on something and then it doesn't end up getting used, or maybe sometimes you work on something and it's not going to be used for the next 6 months and you can't show it. But for me, it doesn't. I've tried to take it so much as it's not that I'm a bad artist. It's just that something else is going to work better for the project. So I saw a couple people saying, "Wow, that poster looked so good. Why aren't you using it? Like, it looks finished. Why scrap it?" It's not that the drawing was bad or that the team didn't like it. The drawing was beautiful, but just something else was going to work better. And I feel like June was also getting very burnt out on it. And so it's important for artists to, be healthy and working on something as an artist that you're burnt out on and that you just don't feel like working on anymore isn't healthy, and it's going to affect the quality of your work. So it was more effective and better for June to start on something else than to finish that poster. Even though the poster was beautiful, the stay-at-home poster is beautiful as well. So
yeah. And if you're not excited about a project, it's not going to look as nice. Because I've worked with clients in my actual professional life, which is kind of weird to say now. But I've actually worked with ones, and the biggest thing I learned when I was in school is make sure you like all your work if you can, or find something to like with it. And that's what I was trying to do. But luckily, because this is volunteer, I have the freedom to say I hate it. So I can have more choice and say in the matter.
So somebody from YouTube asked, is using a tablet strictly required? Yes, we do require a drawing tablet for the brand artist position. Actually, we were just discussing this the other day, that we noticed that the application doesn't actually say that you need a tablet, and that's something that we actually want to change, because we do require a drawing tablet for the position. So there's nothing wrong with traditional art. Traditional art is great and can be beautiful, but just for the art that we do for the team, it just works best to have a drawing tablet. So yes, a drawing tablet is required for the position. Somebody also asked, is the launcher hand-drawn or 3D modeled? So brand art is never 3D modeled. Those are what the 3D modelers do, and I bow down to them because I could never, ever do something like that. I think I saw one of our modelers, or sorry, he's a texture artist, but I think he's done some modeling, maybe Gabe in the chat. Bow down to all of the modelers and the texture artists, because June is a texture artist as well. So
yeah, I consider myself a little more retired in that area.
So all of the art that we do as brand art is 2D. It's all drawn in Photoshop and then rendered in Photoshop, nothing 3D. So yeah, thank you, Gabe. He says that he respects us as well. There's a lot of respect between the different type of artists. Some of us, we say, oh, I could never do what you do, but I very much respect what you do because I could never do it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's see. What toon species do you guys find the hardest to draw?
Deer.
Deer. I have.
I'm sorry, I hate throwing the deer.
So the reason that the deers are so hard to draw is mostly because they have a weird shaped head. Most of the toons, you can draw a circle to start with the head, like just a plain, quote unquote, perfect circle, and build the head off of theirs. Deers have a very weird egg-shaped head.
Yeah,
And
I hate it.
it's very hard to get that and then build the shape off of it. I know that June struggled with it for a while when she was sort of planning out how the brand art dealers should look. And then when I joined the team as a brand artist, I switched from support to brand art. So I had a lot to learn, but the deers were always the ones that were most challenging for me. And I still have to get a lot of red lines whenever I draw deers because they're very, very tricky to draw.
Yeah. Sorry, deer lovers. They're cute, but I think crocs are a little easier to draw amongst the new species.
Yeah, crocs are easier. Somebody asked, do you need a specific type of drawing tablet? No. So I know some artists just use like a Wacom tablet. Like that's just, doesn't have a screen on it. It's just a pad that you draw on. Whereas my tablet looks more like a computer monitor. It's like actually has a screen that you draw on. So there's a wide variety of drawing tablets, and you don't have to have a certain one, just as long as you have a tablet and you have some practice with it. June, what type of tablet do you use? Somebody asked.
I have I don't even know if it's Wacom or Wacom, but I have a Wacom Intuos Pro. I think it was number 5. I guess they have numbers. And it's in medium size. I've always used these kind of tablets, like none with screens.
I'm not sure how you pronounce mine. It's like Gaomon, Gaomon. And it's pretty big. It's about the size of a computer monitor, and it's a screen tablet, so you draw on the screen. So we use 2 totally different types of drawing tablets, Jiren and I.
Yeah, I'm not fancy. Though I've used them when I was in school.
Which toon species do you think needs more representation in brand art? I think monkeys.
Yeah, I was about to say monkeys and pigs.
Yes. So the toon on the high dive card, I don't know if you guys have seen the cards this year, but they're beautiful. The high dive card has a pig on it, which we did because we don't have pig representation. And I may or may not be working on something that involves a monkey. Hint, hint there.
Wink, wink.
Can't show it yet, but I'm trying to include more monkeys. I've always been bummed that the banner doesn't have a monkey on it.
It was going to.
So I think monkeys and pigs definitely, as well as just like fat toons in general and more multicolored toons, which we're trying to do. Because there wasn't enough of them before.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there an animal that is not in the Toontown style that you have attempted in the Toontown style? Have you, June?
I think I've done every single one at this point, actually.
But one that's not, one that, like, I think they mean, like, one that's not an actual animal in Toontown.
Oh. Well, I've only done the bat from Corporate Clash because someone asked me for help, and yeah, I'm more than happy to help people, like, figure out how to draw something from, like, another server. Sorry, I'm, like, very focused. And so, like, I actually never drew a bat, and so that was kind of cute, but I guess that's about it. I'm not very ambitious with drawing other things, because in my personal art, I actually draw a lot of cats, but not in this style.
Thank you to Sourbit TV said, I love the tutorial Tom card, and you made my heart happy there because I did the Tom card, so thank you very much. Okay, so King Pancake just put in the chat, we're going to do another giveaway. If you want the chance to win a Jelly Bean outfit, use the command paintbrush in the chat. And you only have to put it once, I believe, so no need to spam it 1,000 times. And you will have the chance to win a Jelly Bean outfit. And I love that June is doing the watermelon shirt, I think. Yeah.
It is the watermelon one. It's cute.
Yeah, so the deer that I just did that you guys saw the render of, I did the watermelon shirt on because I hadn't seen it in brand art yet, so that was fun to do.
I will be honest, it's hard to think of poses on the spot like this, so hopefully I can be a little unique.
I think it looks great.
Yeah.
So sometimes, as you can see, June is using what's called the lasso tool, and she's kind of making a little lasso around parts of the drawing and moving it around, because sometimes you draw something and it looks good, but it's just in the wrong spot. So she's moving things around there on the drawing. And another thing that you might see her do is oftentimes when we do sketches, we will flip the canvas a lot. So she has her cat facing to the left right now, but sometimes she might flip it so it's facing the right and then flip it back. And that's just because you want to make sure that it looks good whether it's facing one way or the other. So if it looks really good facing to the left, but then you flip the canvas to the right and it looks a little wonky, then there might be some things that you need to change. So that's something that we do often a lot as well.
Yeah, pretty much. Sorry to interrupt, but I got a new one, and this one is Kowser Koopa Hog. I hope I am saying these names right. I'm assuming it's like a reference to Bowser. So they actually have a drawn, I almost forgot the word, OC sheet. So it looks pretty interesting. I can't stop looking at it. So I'm gonna make a group.
By the way, guys, just letting you know, the paintbrush command only works on Twitch. Sorry, I forgot to say that. So only use the paintbrush command if you are watching on Twitch, not on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody asked on YouTube, besides the Mingler, which cogs were difficult to draw. So for me, I am not nearly as good at drawing or confident with drawing cogs as I am with toons. Cogs are very hard to draw. I have some unfinished stuff that I can't show yet. But I actually did a number cruncher, which you guys haven't seen yet, but you may or may not in the future. And the number cruncher was very tricky. And because you had all of the numbers all over the face and you got to make that look good. So that was a challenge for me. And it was also the first number cruncher that we had done. So if there's a cog that hasn't been done yet in brand art, you kind of have to make it up on the spot. And you don't really have any references to look at. So June, what do you think is a hard cog to draw?
Any cog that's muscly. What are they? I don't know what it's actually called. It's like where they're like, it's like the upper triangle body kind of thing.
Yeah. Like the big cogs, like Mr. Hollywood, or like those type of cogs, or like the big ones like Headhunter.
Like these guys, like a triangle shape, rar, kind of thing. I don't know. Like I feel like those are the hardest bodies to draw for me for some reason. I'm so sorry. I cannot think of a pose right this second.
Yeah, it's hard to do the different types of bodies for cogs. They're all very, very different. So yeah, the buff cogs. Do you work on any of the GUI? Somebody asked. June, okay, so typically brand artists don't work on GUI, but June has worked on the GUI once, she says.
Yeah, I helped with the website redesign GUI.
But
Nothing, I'm an expert, but I did it.
I have never done any GUI work. That's not typically something we do. So I haven't done it. Let's see. I'm surprised on how fast you can get stuff done. It's not always fast. June is a very good sketcher. She can sketch very fast, whereas for me it takes a lot longer. But sometimes they're not fast. Sometimes, especially with critiques, it's a very lengthy process. Let's see. What's your favorite species to draw, June?
Crocodile.
Ooh, that's a good one.
They're so fun to draw for me. So I think they're fun.
My favorite to draw is mice. Because it's
they are cute.
The one that I draw the most, and I think they're just very, very cute. So, and I also really like the brand art bears. I've never been a huge fan of the bears in game, the models, but I really love the brand art bears. We just a little like behind the scenes like thing. We often call the bear ears donut ears.
Oh yeah.
Because they're donut shaped, so we'll always be like, oh, don't forget the bears have the donut ears. So that's just what we call them.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I didn't call it that. Roger did when he was explaining how to, because I was struggling drawing their ears, I guess. I don't remember, but he said I was, so I guess I was. I probably looked at it. And he was like, just think about donuts when you draw them or something like that.
Somebody asked, who are your favorite Toontown fan artists? So I'm assuming you mean people that aren't on the team but do Toontown art. June, do you have anyone in mind?
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna sound so bad. It's like hard to like know everyone in the community because I actually I feel kind of like I don't look enough. But I know off the top of my head I do really like Laffy's, and then I also really like Palm's work as well.
Oh, I really like Palm as well.
There was someone else I saw on the Reddit Discord the other day. They made like a drawing and it was super cute, and it was called Breadstick the Cat Doodle or something like that, and I squealed.
Aw.
I'm so sorry. I wish I could remember who drew that. I couldn't stop looking at it.
Yeah, I really like Palm's work as well, and Laffy. Laffy, I adore your art so much. And I know this person's on the team, so maybe this doesn't count, but they're not a brand artist. But Lav, I love your Toontown drawings as well. Because I'm assuming it fits because it's not in the brand style. So I love Lav's work as well. She's a graphic designer on the team. So yeah, I love looking at people's Toontown art though. Like honestly, I feel like June, I don't do it enough, but like, you know, when people tweet me like art that they've done of my toon or Kong or something, it makes me so happy. I love to look at other people's Toontown art.
Oh, yep. I love seeing it. I just feel bad because I can't think of like names. Like if I see the style, I definitely will recognize it. So I'm really sorry that I'm really bad with that kind of stuff.
Oh, this is a fun question. So Joey's been sending me questions in DMs because I can't look at all of them. But somebody said, if you were to make a new toon size, what would it be?
Size? Like body?
Yeah, like maybe a new toon body type?
Muscles.
Oh, muscular toons.
Yeah, okay. I like to draw them. Art school's the only reason I learned ever how to draw muscles. So
muscular
now it's kind of fun. Yeah.
Fran's neck vein, maybe?
Yeah.
The muscular Fran's neck vein.
Yeah, my muscular Fran's. I'm afraid if I show it, PR will kill me.
It seems like everybody else would like buff Toons as well.
Yeah, like, why is Franz fat when he can be buff?
Yeah,
Unless
exactly.
he's like, what is it, an endomorphic body? There's like some, I can't remember what it's called. Something like that.
Let's see. Looking for any more questions. Oh, June's drawing hands right now. Hands are often what I like drawing the least. And I know a lot of artists probably feel the same.
I just can't think of a pose right now. It's the problem.
Normally, we use, I don't know, I think June does it this way, but you start with a circular shape and then draw the fingers off of that. Yeah. That is often what helps me.
I broke that thumb.
If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm looking at chats right now, trying to look at both chats. Yeah, hands are really hard to draw, at least for me. June's a pro at them, but
I don't know. Not right now. I mean, I usually look for references of actual hand placements, but
yeah,
I'm not, because I'm trying to fly solo tonight.
Have you guys considered drawing more Toons with more unpopular heads or muzzles? For example, big muzzle dogs or big muzzle cats with big head. Yes. I would love to. I loved rendering. I rendered the Fission Tin card last year, so I did, and June sketched it, so it was collaborative. The Fission Tin cat and the Fission Tin dog both have, the Fission Tin cat has the big head, and the Fission Tin dog has the big muzzle, not muscle. I'm on the buff Toon subject. And those were really fun to do because they were different. I loved doing those. So yes, I would really like to do more of the quote unquote unpopular like head shapes and things like that. What made you guys want to join the TTR team? June, you want to answer that?
I wanted to make art. I joined in 2013, so this is harder to like remember. I wanted to make art for the game, and I actually wanted to do what I do now, but at the time, I was definitely not fit for that. But they also didn't have like an actual role for it, so I did texture art, and I feel like I kind of lied my way onto the team by mistake because I talked to Maya. And she was like, can you do vector? And I thought vector meant flats. And so it's like, oh yeah, I could definitely do that. And so she's like, cool. Here's a challenge. And I did it, and it was not vector. And so I am so sorry, Maya. They're swirly, that's why.
I wanted to join the team. So I applied for the team actually as a concept artist as my first application. And I was rejected. And honest to God, I am so thankful that I was rejected for that position because it would have been the totally wrong position for me. At the time, I didn't know that. I thought, yeah, concept art is what I want to do. It would be so fun. But it's not at all what I like to do as an artist. And I've realized that now. So they rejected me. And then a couple years later, I applied as a support representative. And I wanted to just because Toontown has been such a big part of my life for a long time, and I wanted to help out. And I adore the community, so I wanted to work support so I could work with the community. And then I ended up switching to brand art because I really love doing art, and I practiced and practiced and practiced. And then I went, hey, can I switch to art? And Maya said, yep. And now here I am. Let's see. How much have you improved as an artist since you joined the team?
So much.
So much. Like I owe all of my art progress to June and Tenny and Roger. Like I can't thank them enough. And honestly, like every time that I draw something, I just can't wait to get critiques by them because it just it makes me learn more. Like I want to be able to do that myself. I want to be able to do the things that these people can do. And so I have appreciated so much all of the critiques that they've done for me. And I mean, the first thing I ever did for the team as an artist was the Crash Cashbot deer, and I did that actually before I was even on the art team.
That is true.
And my most recent has been the tutorial Tom card, and I feel that I've improved a lot from the deer to the tutorial Tom card. So yeah, I owe literally all of my art progress to the team. June, how much do you think you've improved?
So much, especially after they were doing the rebrand in 2017. So I was also in art school at the time, and I was also like applying what I learned from there for my peers, because truthfully I actually learned more outside of school than in, but I did apply some stuff there. So I guess the biggest way to see the improvement is if you look at uh, you're probably going to have to Google it, but there was a 2017 poster and it had like Flippy waving on the streets or something. So that was before we actually even decided like what the final rebrand was going to be, because I did that first before anything else. And so because of that, that whole rebrand thing, I felt like Roger helped me like learn how to be a stronger artist, how to view things stronger. I almost said strongerly, but that is not a word.
Hey, we're artists, not writers,
yeah.
like we say.
That's true. So stuff like that. I feel like he really helped me learn how to draw. Like I self-taught myself all my life. But I feel like there is like a critical thinking point to drawing. Like I do think that the best way to learn is to study from life. And I don't mean like draw a bowl of fruit, because that's boring. Unless you can make it super rad, then you're fine. But I hate doing that stuff. I actually I'm gonna sound so creepy. I people watched with friends on the subway. And we would just like watch and draw people, and I actually learned so much from doing stuff like that.
That's a good way to practice, honestly.
It's actually a common way, but it sounds so creepy when I say it out loud. Yeah, people watched. I watched people and I drew them. And they don't even know.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys have seen the poster from 2017. It's the one with Flippy and the street in the background. If you look at like in my room, I have above the bed all of the posters, and like I was telling June before the stream that York, who is one of our composers that I live with, we were looking at the posters like the other day, and we were looking at the 2017 one to the 2018 one, and we were like, oh my gosh, that progress is crazy.
Like, yeah, I did side by side in my own apartment.
It looks like two totally different worlds. And the rebrand was like such a huge pivotal point in the Toontown art development. And we finally got a style that we stuck with. I say I wasn't on the team at the time, but
it's mostly Roger's thing.
Yeah.
He was like, do this, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so the rebrand was I think a really pivotal point in the art world of Toontown. Let's see. Someone said, Lav said the silly meter poster is spicy. Yes, it's very good.
Don't think I can ever top that again. I think I peaked last year.
June, you always say you'll never top it, and then you top it every year.
I don't know. I'm still like more proud of that one, but I also like to have fun with doing the flyer postcards, whichever we decide that year, because we've done both.
Let's see. Why don't toons have tails? Some people style, they draw them with tails. We don't in the brand style, but some people do.
Yeah, I don't know.
You'd have to go back and ask Disney on that one.
I was gonna say that seems like a Disney question because I'm just here for the ride. I don't know.
Yeah, we just sort of picked up what they put in.
Picked up what they put down.
Favorite accessories to draw on toons?
Bows.
But that's what I was gonna say.
I'm sorry. They're so like, oh my gosh.
I love the Toontown bows. They're just so fluffy and nice to draw.
That's true. Yeah, that's why. I don't know if this counts as accessories, but I don't like drawing the ToonFest outfit.
Oh, the ToonFest outfits are nightmares for the brand artists. Every time we have to draw them, we're like, oh, they look so pretty, but they're so hard to draw.
They're so pretty, but I think I got to a point where I memorized where all the little pens are.
Yes, me too.
Kind of sad.
My favorite with the accessory question, the Riggy that I did for ToonFest 2019, he has that huge bow tie, and I just loved doing that because I loved making it texture look fluffy and dimensional. It was really, really fun. I don't like drawing hats because I don't think I'm good at it, because kind of have to build it around the shape of the head, and that's always an extra challenge for me to do. I'm sure it's probably not for June, but
I don't know. Hats are actually something I struggle drawing still.
Yeah, they can be tricky. Yeah, Riggy's hair is fun to draw as well.
Oh my
I don't know if you count that as an accessory, but
he's an accessory.
Riggy is an accessory, yes.
Yeah, Riggy knows he's an accessory.
Yeah, it makes me wish more toons had hair than just Riggy.
Maybe it could be a new accessory in the game. They would never allow it. Have we done 3 giveaways already?
No, we've done 2, but I don't think he's picked the winner for the second one yet.
Oh. I was gonna say we should start getting on the 3rd.
Yeah, we should start getting on that. Okay, so Alex is going to draw the winner of the second giveaway in just a moment, and then we will do the 3rd one.
I feel like I'm about to sneeze. Okay, I'm gonna try to do at least one more with the time we have. Who knows?
You got
maybe
this.
Speedy. I'm gonna put this next to her. We got cats tonight, I guess.
Yeah, 2 cats. What are the odds?
Yeah, I know. All right, I'm gonna roll this thing again. I wish people could hear the audio. I didn't know this plays some clapping and screaming audio.
Yeah, it does.
There's so many links.
So Alex is picking the winner now. Oh my gosh, Ugly Corny was the. Congrats, Ugly Corny.
Okay, actually, speaking of, do we draw dogs with big muscles? Now we do, because Tegan206 won with his Kuko Octomuffin. I'm sorry.
Is there a toon that is used the most for brand art? So, somebody pointed out to me, I think it was the random dog. He actually pointed out the other day, we need more dogs because the only ones we ever really do are Flippy. And I sort of sat and thought for a second, and I was like, wow, he's right.
Yeah, he told me that too. He was like, come on, let's get to it.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow, I never really thought about that. Maybe we do need more dogs. I think let's see. I don't know if we really have one species that's more represented over the others. We have a couple that are underrepresented, but I'm not sure. maybe you guys could tell us. Is there one that you guys think that you've seen a lot of over some others? Because it's kind of hard when you're the one drawing them.
Yeah, I need ideas. But I do know personally, I have drawn so many cats, so I don't think I can handle it. Even though most of them are in commissions, though, not anything else.
Someone says they would like to see more bears. I agree. I think we should do more bears as well.
They're kind of fun to draw. I don't like how they look in game. Sorry, bear lovers.
Okay, so Alex, is it okay if we have people do the third?
Sorry.
The third, you okay? The third.
I corrupt by mistake.
Just want to make sure it's okay with Alex if we go ahead to do the third. The third. Okay, so if you would like to put the paintbrush command in the Twitch chat, just a heads up, all existing entries still count. So if you have already done the paintbrush command, but you didn't win, your entry still counts. All right. And we will pick that at the very end of the stream, I believe, the third winner. Lots of paintbrushes in the chat.
Oh my gosh. My hand is hurting. Not because of this, but I got some mild carpal tunnel.
Yeah, June unfortunately has carpal tunnel.
It's okay because it's mild. I just bit the bullet and did it for this.
Yeah. Someone said I'd love to see more deer. Unfortunately, they're the hardest ones to draw and the ones that we like drawing the least, but you're probably right.
I fight through the pain. Oh my gosh, I'm about to crop this again.
Yes, pigs are very underrepresented. We're trying to do more pigs though. Like I said, we did one in the high dive card. Let's see. Oh, this is a good question, one that I like explaining. How do the brand artists shade their drawings?
Magic.
So, yes, it's magic. We'll never tell you our secrets. So our shading is vector, and we do it by using the pen tool, which is how we make all of our shapes, and something called feathering. So basically we make a shape with the pen tool, and then we do what's called feathering, which I think is found through the properties window. Yes. And you just up the feathering to the amount that you want the drawing shape. Like, it's basically how strong you want the gradient to be. And that's how we do it. The secret is out. So June, do you use your tablet for rendering?
Yes. So I actually have a way easier time than doing it with my mouse. I used to use my mouse religiously, but now I like.
So yeah, I just like related to something that Gabe said in Twitch chat so much. Like I use my tablet for the sketch and line art or whatever, and then I always do rendering just with my laptop. I never use my tablet to render. And I thought I was the only one. So I'm glad that Gabe and we're kindred spirits.
I'm sorry, I do not participate in such.
How do you guys decide poses?
I don't.
We do 1,000,000 and then we cry and rip our hair out.
For me, my biggest struggle is actually getting started, which is why I feel bad because I should have probably mentally thought of poses before this. Um, but I try to think of like funny things if I can. There's something, I think it's called the art of funny. Um, I'm not very good at explaining it, but I like to use references of what the old cartoons did, like Tom and Jerry, uh, Looney Tunes, and I'm already forgetting another Hanna-Barbera animation.
Yeah, sometimes if I want pose references, I'll just look up like old Mickey Mouse like drawings or poses or cartoons, because that's basically what Toontown, the Toontown style is based off of. So looking at old cartoons can be really helpful because the poses are just so dynamic and funny and cool. We reference them a lot for TTR. So if you're ever stuck thinking of poses, you might go look at old Mickey Mouse or Tom and Jerry, stuff like that. Would really help you out because that's what I do. Let's see. But the other thing that was they said is the pose usually based off of the personality the tune gives off, and I would say like
Yes.
with June's piece right now, that's very true. Like the tune that she's drawing has a very sort of like mysterious and
I have no idea where I'm going with this one.
kind of like the Fissionton sort of vibe, mysterious and you know, that's kind of the vibe that that tune gives off. So she's giving them almost like the pose that the Fissionton has in the card.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh. I wasn't even thinking about that.
That's okay.
I'm gonna leave his muscle like that for a second so I can up this. Oh my gosh. I have keyboard commands, like sometimes I mess up.
Is there anything about the Toontown art style that you wish was different? June, do you have anything?
Oh. I actually can't think of it because like I kind of played a part into like how the style got defined, especially when it comes to shading. So I don't have anything like that I would want to change. The only thing I would want to change is I would wish Photoshop wouldn't lag, but that's not related to drawing. So I'm sorry, that's not very. I'm sorry, it's like a very anticlimactic answer, but I was like I helped define the shading, and then we went from there.
Yeah, so
the drawing, and I liked it.
I wasn't around when the style was developed, but I honestly can't think of anything I'd really change. Like there's things that that I still struggle with and that I need a lot of practice with in terms of drawing the style, because trust me, just because you're a brand artist does not mean you are a master of the style, because I still struggle with the style sometimes. But honestly, it all just works so well that I don't really think any of it needs changing. I think we've found a really good style that works for Toontown Rewritten. June, you might be able to answer this. I want to learn the style more, but I worry about losing style in the process. Is that a reasonable concern?
About losing style?
About like losing your own style in the process of learning the Toontown style.
So my art style personally is actually not this. I just get asked to draw this all the time. But I personally have never felt like drawing like this has helped improve my art style, my personal style actually instead. But I felt that same worry when I first started doing it because I never like replicated someone's like art style before. And then I just kind of tried it. I don't think it would ever get lost because style is like the way you see the world. And so your way of seeing the world is not going to change. And if you look at all the brand art, you can actually see it's probably a little clear who did what, because
Yes.
they're all slightly a little different. They're not like concrete or anything. We give feedback, but in the end, it's definitely all the artists have definitely mixed in their own little touch in
Yes.
them, while still trying to keep on brand.
Yeah, so I mean I've seen some people say this, and maybe you guys in the chat here can agree, but I've seen some people say, yeah, I can almost kind of tell who did which brand art piece, or I can tell that they're not all the same. Or I've seen some people say like, yeah, I thought that Ellie did that. That looks like an Ellie drawing. Like, how can you? Like, it was a little surprising to me at first, but I do think that I like that they're the same, but they're different. Like a dog that June draws is not going to look exactly the same as a dog that I draw and render, even though we're drawing in the same quote unquote style. So just because you're a brand artist for the team and you have to replicate the style doesn't mean you still can't have some of your style worked in there. I really like the fact that you can kind of see the difference between who did which piece, whether it was me or June or Laffy or Kenny or whoever drew it. It's I think that's really cool, and I don't think we would want them to be all exactly the same. It's
Yeah,
nice
there is
that,
something nice.
yeah. Yeah, no problem. You're saying you're welcome to the person that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, they said thank you. So
Yeah. Don't ever worry about that style going away, because it stays forever.
yeah, I enjoy seeing the personal touches to all the drawings as well. And I appreciate that you guys like, the fact that I've seen people say that you like that they're different as well. Do you? So I'm assuming this person means they said you wouldn't mind people coming and asking you on how you draw the style, like. So I'm assuming you mean like, does it bother us when we get asked like how to draw part of the style or something? And honestly, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
Like, I can't say, yeah, let me sit down for a couple hours and teach you, because I just don't have the time. But I'm happy to answer questions about, specifics. If you have a question about shading or sketching or doing flat colors or whatever, I'm more than happy to answer questions. It's not a secret. We don't try to keep how we do the brand art like behind locked doors and no one's allowed to know. Otherwise, we wouldn't do like speed drawings of the posters and stuff like that. So yeah, people are more than welcome to ask questions about how to do the style. It doesn't bother me. I don't think it bothers June, but
no, I just unfortunately can't help everyone like all the time.
Yeah.
Because I have my own stuff to do, so I'm not necessarily the most helpful. But I do try to like take some time to help, because I understand that like it's something to like people that really want to learn it will like seek out that information.
Yeah, June and I actually, we've joked about this before, that I came to June in like 2017 and asked her questions about art. And I'm always like, hey, do you remember when I went to like 3 or 4 years ago and asked you about art? And now we're working as teammates doing the same thing. So
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, Roger said, yeah, we wouldn't be releasing our style guides if we didn't, encourage you guys to learn the style as well.
Hey, Roger.
It's not a secret. The way we do the art isn't a secret or anything.
I definitely cannot draw like him. I feel like he is the best brand artist.
So somebody said, has the art team ever had an internal war over two pieces of art on which to go with? Some people saying one should, or the other saying the second should be the one to go with. So we don't. Yes, but like typically we don't have two people draw the same piece. Like tasks are assigned to one person, not to two different people, and then we pick which one to go with most of the time. But we do have like healthy arguments, not actual arguments about like somebody might critique something, but some other artists on the team might say, oh, I don't necessarily agree with that, or I think it looks better the other way. So we have quote unquote wars about maybe like certain critiques that people give, or whether things should be this way or that way, but it's never usually like between two different artists' work, because like I said, usually two different artists aren't assigned to the same task. But I mean, I like I said, when I said healthy arguments, we don't get into like heated arguments, but I think it is healthy to an extent to have a conversation about why one artist think it should be this way, and another artist might say, oh, well, actually it might be better this way because, and we have a discussion and maybe try both versions. And sometimes we do a team vote, have the team decide which one they like better, and then we just go with that one. But definitely nothing like unhealthy. It's we all collaborate pretty well on the art team, I would say. Yeah, so like Gabe said, things get decided before they get drawn. We decide who's going to do which task long before it gets drawn.
When that is done, there are debates about the thumbnails. It should go with. So like when I worked on the field office, the meter, I did a few thumbnails, and everyone was like, yeah, no. And then TRD came in. Actually, TRD is the reason why it looks the way it does.
Yeah, I remember.
He was like, yeah, so my favorite fun fact about that one is I made the drawing before they made like the whole like idea of the tune spinning around the ceiling meter, and he was like, oh, it'd be cool if they did that. And then I drew it, and he was like, we're gonna program that in, something like that. So that's like like that drawing changed completely, because originally it was just everyone looking at all in it, and I want the final outlook better.
I'm pretty sure
that stuff happens.
TRD is also the reason that there's one of every species. Fun fact, there's one of every species on the cylinder poster.
Yeah.
So there is no species missing on the cylinder poster, which I think is great.
Yeah, that's how I definitely know. I see that we are getting a little closer to the end, unfortunately.
Yeah, so Alex said he said 5:08 or Pacific time, so 8:08 Eastern, and he said to announce the last. I think we're gonna announce the last winner as the very last thing.
Okay, that works.
Yes.
I do not see the winners because I am so heavily focused on this, but I probably could look on my other monitor.
Alex asks if I can do a drum roll. You mean like like can I just do it like on my leg? Like I don't have a drum. I mean, I know I live with it, but I can't do. I can't.
York.
We'll get York in here to do a drum roll. Yeah, I can do a drum roll.
I cannot because I have a headset.
Let's see. So somebody asked if I already answered about the GUI, but if we do logos. So yes, sometimes, and sometimes the graphic designers will do the logo. So Lav, our wonderful graphic designer, actually did the Cartoonival logo. Round of applause for her because it's beautiful. And she is a graphic designer. But I believe, let me think, the Silly Meter logo was done by Dan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Who is it? texture artist. So honestly, like a bunch of different people do logos. So a couple months ago, it was more than a couple months ago, we actually made it so multiple people on the art team could have the role of graphic designer. So like Dan the Duck, who is a texture artist, is also a graphic designer. I'm also a graphic designer. I think June is also a graphic designer. So any of those people can do logos. So texture artists, graphic designers, brand artists, we all just kind of, whoever's up for it just kind of takes the logos. So they're not really assigned to a specific role within the team. But yeah, brand artists have done logos. Like Mike or Lost Hero, he is one of our brand artists, and he also does logos. Like he did the beautiful field office logo. Yeah, it just depends on who's up for it. And yes, Gabe animates our logos. Round of applause for Gabe, because oh my gosh, does he do such a great job on animating the logos. So animation is something that I just admire so much. Oh, he wants the drum roll? Sure. Okay, right now. Okay, so drum roll, the winner for the final giveaway paintbrush thing that we're doing. Symbol Crash.
I thought that was actually the name.
Take it away, Alex. Man, I really wish I would have gotten York in here with her drumsticks.
Not too late.
So Alex's Duck Fawn. Duck Fawn is our final winner. Congratulations, Duck Fawn. I think Jude's just going to finish up this last sketch. And she'll probably show all three of them.
Yeah, in an attempt. We're going to ignore this year. We're going to pretend that year doesn't exist, because they're calling it not so it actually.
So congratulations to our 3 giveaway winners, and congratulations to the 3 who got their toon drawn.
Man, I'm so good at predicting. I thought I could do 4, but my hand has other plans. So
yeah,
these are fun little winners, and then I will post them on my personal Twitter, and then PR can do whatever they want with that. But
are we supposed to plug our Twitters or?
Oh, I don't know. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
PR didn't tell me anything.
PR,
sorry.
We need you.
we need our Quentin.
Quentin? Here?
I don't know. But at least these are like here within like our eyes. So we got cats, we got dogs. Well, a dog. And then, I didn't mean to delete the dog. I'm sorry, I already forgot the names, but I have the tabs open.
Okay, Saf says plug your Twitters.
Okay, so I am Junez, 2 is June HS with a number 2. Because someone already took the username Junez, and I am stalking it still to see if it'll ever go away.
And my Twitter is Miss Sarah Ellie, MissSarahHellie. So that's where we'll post all of our, usually where we start Toontown art, anything to do with brand art. So if you want to follow us on there to see Toontown brand art, go right ahead. And thank you, Saf, for saying you'll take the fallout if we're allowed to plug our Twitters.
I don't know. I'm here for art.
Oh, are you doing is that a doodle?
Yeah. Just say goodbye.
Thank you. Joey, I'll plug the Twitter in the chat.
Joey!
Thank you so much. Yeah, you want to wrap up here, June?
Yeah. So, thank you very much for sitting and listening to us talk about art, a long time, and it's really appreciated that a lot of you guys like sitting here right now listening and like watching. So I'm really excited for the future brand projects we have, because they're definitely like not gonna like not happen. Like I said, the launcher is going to come, but I'm not sure when, but it will come, and it's going to be cool art, and you guys will definitely appreciate the longer wait. Yeah, I just appreciate everyone's.
Thank you guys seriously so much. I never thought that I would be talking to, all these people about my art. But honestly, thank you guys so much. It makes me so happy to know that the art that we do makes you guys happy. Honestly, it's amazing. So thank you. All right, I think we're gonna wrap up here and let Alex finish the stream. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and feel free to interact with us on Twitter and stuff. And we will see you guys around in Toontown.
Bye, guys.
Bye.